What's up, guys? We are driving to the gym once again, and I just drove past a school bus a moment ago, and it reminded me of how much fun it was being a kid and not having any real impactful responsibilities. You had these kind of, at least for me as a kid, I had these like play responsibilities. Like, I had to, my dad would have me help him when we were doing projects around the house and stuff. But obviously, I couldn't actually mess anything up because he was there, overseeing everything. There would be school homework and stuff that, when you're in elementary school and middle school, it really doesn't matter. I would do decently with it, uh, but the consequences of not doing well, there were one or two times when I wouldn't do well and there weren't any actual severe consequences in terms of my life. And I was just thinking about how fun it was to, or how, well, yeah, one thing, how fun it was to, be a kid and just be experiencing everything for the first time, but also how much or how little pressure there was in terms of just day-to-day life, because everything was kind of taken care of. And as a kid, although maybe you're, as a kid, more in control of where your life is headed than I thought at the time. At least at the time, I thought that, pretty much no matter what I do, it's going to be fine. And for the most part, everything turned out fine. But could things have turned out better if I'd done things differently? Yeah, absolutely. Looking back, I realized that. But during childhood, I had no concept that, stuff that I was doing then. I mean, I had, a vague concept of I should do well in school and I shouldn't, commit any crimes, even though as a kid, I don't think you'd go to jail, you'd go to juvie or something. But it was so peaceful, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, not having anything to worry about, like nothing substantial to worry about. I mean, there were some things that, I was worried about as a kid. Mostly, though, those were external things, like, there would be a bully, or there would be, some family disaster, that, external things that would affect me. It wouldn't be any pressure that I felt to, that I had to do something, otherwise life wasn't going to be so good. And to an extent, there aren't those kinds of pressures to a super severe level for me currently. I'm at a place where I could coast pretty easily for a significant period of time and be okay, but eventually things wouldn't be looking too good. And I would need to figure out, okay, how am I going to survive? As a kid, I guess that day technically eventually comes because you age out of being a kid, but you're not really thinking about it. You think like, okay, well, when I'm an adult, then I'll figure it out. And there's just something very fun about that, about having no worries in the world, really, that are significant at all. And I do hope to get back to that point one day. And ideally before very old age, because I do believe that, most old people get to that point once again. Eventually you age to a certain point and you retire and your kids are kind of helping you out, hopefully, or, you're on Social Security. You've got some system in place where, everything is just going as it should and things are sustainable. Hopefully that's the case. I mean, it's not a guarantee for everyone, but a lot of the older people that I've witnessed, our family tends to take care of our older family members. So it's not really an issue, at least that I've seen. But I would like to get to that place before I'm I'm super old, is what I'm saying. I would like to get to a place where, there's just enough, like there's nothing that needs to be done. I still want to do things, but I'd like to get it to a place where, based on what I've done in the past, there are systems in place, you know, at least from a financial perspective. I mean, obviously, I'll always have to be, unless we have a really great medical breakthrough, I'll always have to be working out pretty regularly to keep my physical health in check. Otherwise, stuff could go wrong there. But I don't really think of that as, as much of a worry. I mean, that's a lot more simple. It's harder to mess up, in my opinion, than financially. Stuff could really go wrong financially. If you, well, one, if you don't invest at all, then, I mean, it's just a matter of time, no matter how much money you have, before you eventually run out, because if you're not working, because you're not producing any additional money and inflation's slowly shrinking your bank account. So if you're not investing at all and you're not working, even if you earned a couple $1,000,000 and you're just sitting pretty on that, you're not going to be okay forever. You might have enough where you think like, okay, I'll make it till the end of my life. But then big inflation hits and you're in trouble all of a sudden. So, that's one thing. But even if you are investing, you really need a lot of money in a lot of different places before you're fully secure, I guess, is the way of saying it. Because, I mean, the economy could crash. The whole economy could go down by a significant amount. And, if you're not invested in, maybe foreign stocks or in some other kind of assets like gold or silver or crypto or real estate, then you could be in trouble. If you don't have some kind of diversification or anything like that, you could be in trouble. And so it is tough to get back to that point where you can kind of feel like a kid, in the way that there are no worries in the world. There's a broken down car. It's smashed on this corner where there are quite a few accidents. That front end got smashed. But it takes a lot of work to get to the point where you can be a kid again before you're, like a really old person. And it's not that it's not feasible, and it's not that it's not fun. It honestly, I think, is fun working to that point, because the whole time that you're working towards, creating this system that will take care of you, you're envisioning it, and you're thinking about how great it's going to be when you're done. And not that when I say you're done, you're completely done doing anything. Once again, just that you've reached this point where you have a certain level of security where I'll be okay pretty much indefinitely. I imagine that is a very pleasant feeling, I guess, to have that level of security. And surely new issues will arise. At that point, maybe you'll have to be more worried about, like, hey, what are my relationships like? Like, are people becoming friends with me just because they want in on what I've created? Like, maybe there are, new issues that I haven't really fully thought through. I'm sure that's the case, but at least those issues hopefully won't affect your survival at a base level, because that's what's at stake for most people. I mean, in the United States, we have pretty good programs to take care of people. For the most part, I don't think anyone is literally starving on the street, unless there's some kind of mental issue where they just don't realize, like, they can go to the food bank. But, in a way, your survival is at stake, because or at least your comfort, your physical comfort. And that is significant. That's something people don't want to lose. And that's something that I wouldn't ever want to lose. And so I'm going to keep working hard to get to a place where that has been secured for the foreseeable future. And other than that, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.